Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be taking a look at Vechain and specifically that price action of VET. Guys, as we get into this, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with all the latest updates for Vechain. Right, with that said, done and out of the way, let's jump into this TA on VET. And we're going to start things off with this weekly chart. As always, what we're doing is highlight that there are 5 impulse waves to the upside. Everything kind of started back in March of 2020, peaked out in, I think it was August of 2021, of 2020 here, with pretty good all-time highs being set. We went into a correction wave 2. This kind of bottomed out in October of 2020. And really started wave 3 for Vechain here. Wave 3 kind of peaked out up in April of 2021. So all in all, from March 2020 to April of 2021, 399 days, we've seen 18,295%. We then went into the 4th wave correction. And again, this took a lot of people by surprise. But because wave 2 was flat, wave 4 was sharp. And again, this is where we really confirmed that there were 5 impulse waves to the upside. Basically confirming that we were not dropping down lower than our wave 1, right? So again, the accumulation zone was identified down here. This was the area for buying up significant portions of VET ahead of this 5th wave to the upside. We've had a good recovery so far. We've taken out some key areas and progress is doing pretty well. We're up at 15 cents right now, and on our journey up to the dollar level for Vechain, we've got another 585% to go. So from the current position to that dollar, it's 585%. So we're doing less than 10x from our current position up to $1. So not too bad. We can also take a look at the stochastic. We were oversold at the beginning of this bull run. We were overbought at the peak of wave 1, oversold during the lows of wave 2, back up into the overbought for wave 3, down into the lows of oversold during wave 4, and now we're back up in the overbought as we kickstart things really nice and strongly here into wave 5. So again, looking like we can stay up here for quite some time. We look back at the history, we can say that we entered the overbought originally in June. We rode this all the way through to August. Up in wave 3, we entered it in December, and we stayed up here until April. And again, looking at this, we can stay up here for quite some time as we go for that dollar level. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that we might extend above that. That would be fantastic. But for me personally, from a technical point of view, using the peak of wave 3 and the low of wave 4, that puts Vechain at $1. Now, we'll get into that on the hourly in a moment. Okay, so I go, people are saying 150, etc. For me, ultra safe. I'm going to be aiming for that dollar level, and again, I think there's lots of gains to be made. Again, also during the bear market when we accumulate more Vechain for the long hold. So let's jump down into our daily view. Okay, so now we obviously know that we've got over 500% in gains still to come. We've got a bit of traction going on that weekly chart. We obviously have the Fibonacci retracement tool here on the daily, using that high of wave 3 coming in at, I think it was about 28 cents. So 27.9, so I've got it at 28 cents. We also go down to as low as our in our 4th wave correction, we went down as low as 5.2 cents. And again, so using that high and that low, it puts us with a prediction of $1.01 as your peak. This is the 4.236 extension level on the Fibonacci. Okay, right now we are taking out some key areas. We obviously take a look at this on our daily chart here. We obviously have the 382 coming in at 13.9. This is a previous area of resistance where we come back down and find support on 11.5. And a couple of days ago, we actually took this area out, right, taking out that 13.9 and started to surge all the way up towards some higher levels. We went up as high as 15.7 before having a slight pullback yesterday. And obviously today we are in an overbought area on our stochastic, but again, we can be up here for quite some time as we were moving upside originally after this started this 5th wave in recovery mode. So right now being up here is not too much of a problem. And again, we are looking now at targeting 16.6 on this daily chart. Now, obviously we are looking to try to get above there's two key areas on this Vechain chart that we're looking for. The one that's a more of immediate, and then obviously one which is a longer term mission to get that closed candle just up here above 23.1. That's the big bull signal that takes us to the next level. Now, this yellow box area is another Fibonacci retracement tool indicating the 618, 702, 786. This one actually uses this high point just here rather than this high point. And this is going to be our first battle area because we had a good motion to the upside after this pullback, and then we went down and we bounced. And this is the area that we're looking to try to get into and get closed above. This one comes in at 21.5 cents, but there isn't too much difference between these two areas, right? So the main one that we're really wanting is the 23, but I'm aware that this is an area that we're also going to have a bit of a challenge to try to push through. So right now things are heating up as we approach that 16.6 cent, and this is the first battle, and then this is going to be the second battle before we go into price discovery mode and look at these extension levels, look at these price targets. The first one comes in at 42 cent. Okay, so there's quite a bit of work to do before we get there with Vechain, but once it gets going, like we take a look at the history here, it takes a little bit of time. There's a little bit of sideways trading happening in between these things, and this is what I guess people get frustrated with, right? It doesn't move up in straight lines. Instead, we kind of have these corrections, and then it has good motion. And with Vechain, when it got going rapidly. So again, we are just kind of waiting for it to kind of get past some of these kind of key areas, and then once it gets into that price discovery, we'll be off to the races without any issue. When we jump down into our hourly, this is where we start to see a few of the additional things that were going on. Here, originally, we saw this triangular wedge with the breakthrough. When we started a new upward trend, this kind of then changed most recently. I'm going to just see if I can grab hold of this and adjust it a little bit, because yesterday we saw Bitcoin kind of take a bit of a correction and bring the market down with it. So in the case of Vechain, there is almost like this parallel channel. It's not quite parallel, but it's definitely in there. We're obviously finding resistance up at 15.2 after peaking out a little bit higher. So this is now our major area of resistance. Now what we'll look for here will be a good strong area of support, right? So that's what we're kind of trying to find within a trend. There isn't really a strong one here, so these trend lines are incredibly weak right now. So we'll have to see if they continue to be weak, or they just get invalidated and I'll have to remove them, or whether or not we're actually going to find this is going to be a really strong area for us. Now, in the case of Vechain here, we can see that we have actually got a pretty reasonable stochastic RSI. We've been moving to the upside, but we have been finding resistance up at this upper end here for quite some time. So again, we haven't had a bit of a pullback. Ideally, you actually want this pullback to kind of go for a little bit longer, retest this trend line, and then allow us to move back up. Now, obviously, with our resistance here and our trend line, this isn't a triangular wedge here that has been forming. Now, if we do lose momentum here, we push right up. We could see this break really quickly just from here, break that trend, or keep the trend line, but break the resistance and hopefully back test that as a support line in the future. Obviously, bearing in mind we have this upward trend as well that's also looking like it's a bit of a barrier. We could find ourselves breaking through, back testing, retesting, and then just following this trend up towards our yellow box here. Okay, so again, I don't think we're going to see anything immediate. It's nothing going to be quick with Vechain here, but we are moving quite nicely to the upside as we approach this area just here. Okay, so again, slow and steady wins the race. Once we get past that key area of 23 cent, we are going to be in a pretty strong position to start seeing some pretty good fast moves with Vechain. Until then, we have to be nice and slow and steady and methodical about how we do it, and that's exactly what you're seeing from the charts here, slow and steady. This is a blockchain technology that's doing quite significant things in the real world, right? We see it adopted across very large enterprises around the world, and a part of that is obviously testament to how the design has been, right? A dual token system, VET being the store of value, V4 being the gas fee token, etc., is a unique model, and it works incredibly well for the purposes of the chain, and hence why it has so much adoption from enterprises and governments, and why this is one of those projects that I really do think has got such long-term value added to it. So again, although it can be frustrating for a project that is delivering just as much as it is, this project is something that I do think has such significant value in the space. Overall, we are looking for this triangular wedge to break. Once we do, and we slowly work our way up past that 23 cent, I think we're going to be moving significantly to the upside. If we're ever in doubt, we do drop out into our weekly view, take a look at the bigger picture, understand where things are going, understand that we are looking at another 582% to move up towards $1 from the current position. And, we don't get act too emotionally when we start seeing it like this, rather than really focusing in on all those hourly candles. This shows a pretty nice and neat picture of a good, steady motion to the upside. And I think this is going to continue for the rest of the year with the occasional pullback here and there, like we saw within our third wave. Guys, hopefully you have found this brief update on VeChain useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.